Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Manuel. An old shopping center in Painted Post will soon make way for a new travel center. Our Sonia Ellison has details on the construction.
The old Ames Shopping Center on Victory Highway that sat for years will be torn down, as confirmed by Town of Irwin manager Rita McCarthy. She told Big Fox the concept plan submitted in November will be moving forward.
We gotta knock the building down. It costs more to fix it up than it does to tear it down and rebuild again.
Demolition of the old Ames building in Painted Post starts in the spring. Once demolition is done, a new two-story building will be built. That will be a chain travel center. According to the concept plan, Quickly's Travel Centers based in Avon plans to open shop.
I think that's super.
Well, if you're sitting there doing nothing, if somebody can make money, why not?
The plan proposes Quickly's will develop a gasoline and diesel filling station, mini mart with a 45-room hotel, 63 active vehicle parking spaces, 26 truck parking spaces, 3 electric vehicle charging stations, car, truck, and bus washes, and much more. Some locals wonder why it took so long to reinvent the property.
I don't know, whoever's paying taxes on it must have a lot of money, otherwise you'd have fixed it a long time ago.
Some are asking why the original building wasn't maintained throughout the years before it became an eyesore.
It's a shame they don't take care of other empty buildings,
But the company must first submit the full site plan and completed traffic study to the Zoning and Planning Board. Once this has been finished, Quickly's can actually begin the construction and development phase of this project. No dates for the construction were given yet, but McCarthy said demolition must be completed by January 2025 at the very latest. Sonia Ellison, Big Fox News, Painted Post.
Corning Inc. announced Friday that they have laid off 1,000 of its 51,000 employees worldwide. This makes up almost 2% of the company's workers. Corning says employees were laid off because of a revenue that was lower than previous outlooks. The Elmira Police Department has several new officers on the force. On Friday, EPD swore in Aaron Fisher, Joshua Frybus, and Nolan Collins, all from the Elmira area. The new hires won't hit the streets right away. They start training at the Southern Tier Law Enforcement Academy this week, and then they have a 12-week field training program. Also, Officer Theron Brown has been promoted to sergeant. He's been part of the department since 2014 and is a certified evidence technician and member of the SWAT team. The New Hampshire primary is tomorrow, and there's been a major shakeup in the race with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis now out. So now it's Nikki Haley and former President Donald Trump making their last-minute push to voters. Rebecca Castor is in Bedford, New Hampshire with the story.
Governor Ron DeSantis is back in Florida after suspending his presidential campaign, leaving the New Hampshire primary to Nikki Haley and former President Trump.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance.
I think he should have waited. I don't think he should have gone up against Trump.
It's now a two-person race. Donald Trump still commands a sizable lead over Haley in the polls, but the former UN ambassador says she's confident she'll pick up those DeSantis voters now up for grabs.
What I'll tell you is I know that the DeSantis voters, they love America and they wanted a new generational leader.
One day before the primary, Trump is notably not in New Hampshire. He's back in New York facing a defamation case by writer E. Jean Carroll. Still, his supporters are standing by him.
I think Donald Trump is going to be the one.
I think that we're going to have a tremendous Tuesday, and we're going to have a great result just like we did in Iowa.
But in purple New Hampshire, undeclared voters are allowed to vote in either primary, meaning there could be a shakeup.
It's very hard to predict New Hampshire voters in a primary, and they can do things at the last minute and really shock the political world.
Trump will be joined at a rally tonight by 3 of his former rivals, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, and Doug Burgum, trying to show the party is united around the former president and ready for him to take on Biden. In Bedford, New Hampshire, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Former President Donald Trump was expected to testify in a civil defamation trial today, but it was postponed due to a juror and one of his attorneys being ill. E. Jean Carroll is seeking at least $10 million for damages that she says Trump caused to her reputation. He was found liable for allegedly assaulting Carroll in the 1990s in a Manhattan department store. The defense made a motion for a mistrial today, but the judge denied it, and said the trial will resume Tuesday, although Donald Trump may not attend due to the New Hampshire primary. 21 people had to be rescued from a frozen Lake Erie today. Multiple agencies, including the Coast Guard, responded to the incident in Catawba Island, Ohio, when the group became stranded on an ice floe, or a large, flat piece of floating ice. All 21 people are reported safe. It is unclear why the group was on the ice or how they got stranded. As we experience a new surge of respiratory viruses nationwide, major hospital systems across the country are experiencing severe overcrowding. Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
As the so-called triple-demic of flu, COVID, and RSV grinds on, major hospital systems across the country are sounding the alarm, saying the combination of respiratory viruses is causing severe overcrowding, leading to dangerous conditions. New York and Los Angeles have already reinstated mask mandates inside hospitals. And in Boston, Massachusetts General announced Friday it's been operating under what it calls a capacity disaster, meaning the emergency department is full and dozens of patients are waiting for beds.
They'll leave you in the hallway and attend to you in the hallway with a curtain. It's awful. I don't know what this world's coming to. I really don't.
But the White House says it doesn't think this current surge will result in a new outbreak, pointing out hospitalizations are a lagging indicator. And new CDC data shows only 24 states are now experiencing high or very high levels of respiratory illness. That's down from 37 in the first week of January. But vaccination rates remain low. Only 11% of children have gotten the most recent COVID shot, and 21% of seniors rolled up their sleeves for the RSV vaccine, meaning those two groups are still vulnerable to serious infections.
It's a very difficult situation, but I think for parents, to monitor their symptoms of their children, and if possible, to keep them at home away from other children to stop the spread of these respiratory viruses.
The CDC also says the percentage of positive tests for COVID and RSV decreased last week, while positive flu tests remain stable. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Dexter Scott King, the younger son of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, has died after battling prostate cancer. The King Center in Atlanta, where Dexter King served as chairman, said the 62-year-old son of the civil rights icon died at his home in Malibu, California. His wife, Leah Weber King, said in a statement that he died peacefully in his sleep. Dexter King was just 7 years old when his father was assassinated in April of 1968 while supporting striking sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee. As an adult, Dexter King became an attorney and focused on shepherding his father's legacy. A new milestone for the stock market today. The Dow Jones rose above 38,000 for the first time ever. The Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all ended the day higher. Some key pieces of information for the market are coming out this week, with a busy day of earnings reports tomorrow. The gross domestic product report for last quarter coming out Thursday, and the inflation report for December coming out on Friday. We'll be back after the break with a full check of your forecast. Plus, how the migrant crisis from the southern border is pushing hospitals in Denver to the brink.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, good evening. Our next system is pushing its way in here as we step through the overnight, and we're noting that some moisture moving in with our temperatures just around that freezing mark. It is causing for some potential of some freezing rain and drizzle, and that can create some slick surfaces, as well as noting that is a very hidden weather phenomenon as well heading out the door in those morning hours. So keep yourself wary. A winter weather advisory has been issued due to this threat to keep you wary and on your toes for that morning commute, as this is again one of those silent weather systems that push in. As you kind of see these little spots of greens, pinks, and blues, it's noting that in the upper atmosphere there's some moisture moving in, but the wind direction is changing, and it's making it a little bit more difficult to fine-tune what precipitation type's occurring and how much is going to occur. Now we note that it is a very just moisture-driven sprinkle that may be moved in here this evening, and then morning hours, there's an hour or two there could be some freezing rain accumulation, but for a little bit of with some northerly winds gives us some snow showers, and then we end off that system again, a little potentially wintry mix as well as rain showery there into our Wednesday morning, as we are going to be talking temperatures on the upward climb. But we're still in this cold air battle, as nearly the area sitting right on that cold front, and that cold front is what's going to keep us with the potential of some snowfall during the daytime, accumulating an inch to 3 inches. But we'll note that what's going to be very influential on how much snowfall we receive or don't receive will be that hour or two of some potential freezing rain or even rain showers at onset. We're noting that there are a few spots there showing some 1/100th of an inch accumulation, potentially 1/10 of an inch of accumulation possible. And what we can see again, that can create that glare of ice on the roadways, creating very, very dangerous travel. Lots of images and videos of what was occurring across the Central Plains today with this freezing rain threat. And that should just be an example of what is possible for that morning commute. Again, this is going to be possible at onset of this system before transitioning to those snow showers. Because what we see is that we have these switching winds. We have east-northeasterly winds or west-northwesterly, excuse me, trying to work their way in there from the west and the north, keeping that environment cool, but then temperatures also edging just around that freezing mark. So this is going to make it very difficult to have that precipitation type. So there's freezing rain, snow to wintry mix, all possible. So again, it is going to be a difficult day of traveling. At times it's going to look pretty quiet out there, but there could be those hidden dangers. So make sure to stay wary. If you do not have to travel, stay home, stay safe. Temperatures will be hovering anywhere from that near freezing mark to those upper 30s. We'll note that the system, though, is starting to lift in the warming, so we'll stay around that freezing mark into Wednesday morning. Still could allow for some icing, but then we continue to lift those temperatures up with even some 50-degree highs with our second system coming Thursday into Friday, and then we'll become a little quieter with some cooling into the weekend.